Welcome to the Life of a Marketer podcast. And today's guest is Jason Rogers. Jason, I'm going to
Hi
allow
guys.
you to introduce yourself. Tell us about who you are and what it is that you do.
Hi guys. So I am Jason Rogers. I run a marketing company called Gateway Gears, and I specialize in helping my clients strategize their marketing campaigns.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Typically, tell us a little bit more about that. Let's dive into that a little bit more. Who do you help to strategize their marketing campaigns?
I mostly work with small businesses, so like mom and pop companies. So like bakeries, there's little like homeschool programs, um, dentists, um, um, car rental, like small car rental companies, things like that. So
Okay.
um, it it varies. It's my market, my particular market. The best way to describe it is just like small mom and pop companies that need a little bit more help and in the foundations of marketing.
Awesome. Awesome. That's an excellent niche. It's a tough niche, but that's an excellent niche. All right.
It is a very tough niche because you're working with small margins sometimes.
Exactly. Exactly. You got to be a genius, more or less. It's a lot harder to help someone like that than it is a bigger company that has a lot of dollars you can test with.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so tell me, what's the best thing about being in the marketing industry?
Um, for me, it is two things. So one, there is no cap to how much you can make in marketing. And two, um, you're able to help people achieve their dreams. And like basically anything. You got people who run book or are authors, and you want to help them like become a well-known author. That's something that a big dream that some people have, or um, a father who is ready to retire, but the company isn't in a position to sell yet. So his dream is to be able to get that company in a place where it can be handed off or sold. And marketing, being able to hand off marketing to someone else is one of those steps. Or like, I mean, basically, I just help people achieve their dreams with marketing is really what it comes down to. And I love doing that.
Oh, I love that too. There's so many people I help just for free to try to help them with their strategy. We don't really do strategy necessarily, but I'm doing that all the time. Absolutely love it. It's such fun. What sort of
It
advice
is.
do you offer to those that are in the marketing industry right now?
Know your foundations. This is what I go around speaking on is understanding what the foundations of marketing is. And that is basically making, and it depends on the type of marketing or the type of market you're trying to reach as well. But for the most part, for the majority of markets, it is making sure that the landing page is invitable, like it's inviting, that it's very clear what you want your client/customer to do on that landing page, and then making sure that landing page is optimized for search engines, and then making sure it's set up with Google Analytics as well as Google AdWords, um, because that's where basically all other things kind of jump off of that, as well as Google Tag Manager. Like you get all of those things set up, and then every other type of marketing campaign kind of runs off of those things. And that's why what I explain to most people in the field.
Awesome. So, what are some tips for people with their landing page or their website? Like, what are some typical problems or issues that you find when you're dealing with the type of clients you're dealing with?
Too many options on the website. So people will get lost on the website. They'll go there wanting to, they're not 100% sure what they're looking for. A lot of the times they have an idea of what they're looking for, but they're not clear on it, right? So it's your job to help that client be clear on what they're looking for. And and you only want to give them the option to buy, basically, right? Or to sign up for the solution that you're offering. And many times there'll be way too many pages, way too many things to click on that don't lead people to that sell. And that's where a lot of sales are lost, is because people then get confused and lost, and then they go back to Google and search again.
Yeah, I agree. That's a huge problem. Making sure that you have a one clear call to action visible everywhere. Very
Mhm.
small, subtle change that can definitely help you to get success. What else are
Yeah.
some big, issues that you find as you're working with these smaller businesses? What are some other red flags you immediately find?
One of the biggest issues is the owner doesn't know how expensive it is. They've never done marketing before, so that they have no idea what what to expect. So it's important to clarify those expectations and to be like, hey, this is how much it costs to survive running this for you, type of thing. Um,
Mhm.
and my prices are lower than most out there. Like, you can't get lower than my prices unless you have a one-man show doing everything, which that person should honestly be paid twice as much than what, because they're doing everything, you know. Um, but I have a team of people, which is great, uh, and it depends on what they're trying to achieve. But for the most part, um, I can keep prices low enough for small businesses, around like 500 to 600 a month for like everything, type of thing.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, those are really really low prices. It's hard to find someone who would
It's way
really
too
be able
low.
to charge that. Yeah, you should think about charging more probably. All right.
Oh
So,
yeah, but that's just like the foundations, really. That's the starting point. And what's great is you get people started and all about marketing, so you make more money with marketing. And now that they see the value in it, then you can add more services on top of that, and along the way they're making more money, which means you're making more money. So
right, right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing those tips for us. If you're a small business owner and you haven't thought about those some of those things, that's something that you definitely want to look into. And actually, there are actually some larger businesses that have the same problems. So that have
yeah.
a lot of structure and a professional website, and they don't have a clear call to action, and they don't have it visible, and you're not sure when you go on the site what it is that you want to do. Actually, I looked last week at a business like that, and I looked at their website, and it didn't. It had that issue. So, what other successful people in marketing like yourself would you like to acknowledge that should be on the podcast?
There's a small have you ever heard of a company called Video Power?
Never heard of them.
All right, so they specialize in YouTube marketing. So all the different types of campaigns that you run on YouTube, which also kind of hand in hand goes with Google AdWords. So they do some of that too, but their specialty is YouTube AdWords. And the owner, his name is Jacob Larson, I think. So you can find him on LinkedIn under Video Power, Jacob Larson, and reach out to him. And
Awesome,
he
awesome,
probably will be open to the idea. I think he would. Anyway, he's a good partner for. He helps a lot with all kinds of things. So
awesome, awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And then we have one question for fun. Final question. Tell me the oldest technology you remember using.
oh man, so I was 4 years old, and my dad's an IT guy, so he um he would travel the world teaching computers, and he brought home, back then it was like a brand new thing, right? But it was, describe this thing, it's like huge, this computer. It was like huge, right? And he sets it down on the table, and together he teaches me how to open it up, clean it out, um, and put the lid back on. Showed me all the different things inside, like this is the motherboard, this is the processor, then puts it back on the lid, and then we start putting in these floppy drives, so one by one into this thing. I think it was like 10. And well, I'm probably exaggerating because I was 4. I barely remember the memory, but he by the time we were done putting in all these floppy drives to run this one program, and the program was like Hangman or something, and we got to play this game. It was fun.
So it was the reward at the end of all the work to be able to play probably like black and white or something like that, right?
Yeah. Oh man, it was black and green.
Black and green.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Super.
Yeah, I remember that in 5th grade that my teacher had an old computer in her uh in her she had like a little desk at the corner, and if you wanted to, you could go and you could try to practice typing on it. And it was like I don't know, looked like a typewriter with a screen basically, and the letters were green, and that was like the first computer I ever saw. And that reminds me of that. No Hangman though, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Jason, we keep our podcast short, so we're going to cut it here. Thanks so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Everybody, like and subscribe. You can catch our podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays at around 11 a.m. We stream it all over social media. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Life of a Marketer Podcast. If you look at The Life of a Marketer Podcast, you should be able to find it. You can also, if you want me to be added to our email list, jared@hiveleadmarketing.com, and we will go ahead and add you. Once again, Jason, thanks for hopping on. This has been a great podcast. Over and out, everyone.
Bet. Cheers.